there's some differences to that at different points, so I might point those out to you. But generally speaking, this is what we're gonna do. Okay? I'm gonna play the role of the chief data scientist, guiding us along. And then you guys are gonna be the data scientists on the team, right? So we're gonna work in a collaborative way to be able to put some of these items together. Okay? And then also, if you guys have attended my tutorials before, you guys know that I'm a big fan of AI, and ChatGPT is our employee, right? So we're going to use ChatGPT to help us. And primarily speaking, we should take the attitude that coding tasks are trivial now. There is no code that we can't write anymore, because ChatGPT, has its flaws, but it usually produces pretty good code, at least good enough code for us, right? So that's our view, right? That ChatGPT is our employee. There are no difficult coding tasks. And we are the data science team working towards client projects, and we can take on clients of any type. So Ahmed asks, is it applicable to weather and climate? Absolutely. Absolutely. Lots of data science work is being done with weather and climate. That's actually what my sister's husband does, my brother-in-law. He applies mathematical models to the weather for the government. So yeah, it's absolutely applicable. Ashish says, hello, Dennis. Which platform do you stream apart from Instagram? So Ashish, if you check the pinned comment in Instagram, I have a link to my YouTube where you can view it on YouTube. It's a little bit more convenient than Instagram, okay? But I mean, I push out on Twitch, Kick, and LinkedIn, and also X, okay? So you can see me on any of those platforms. All right, so this is the definition of us, of who we are. So we have a prospect. We have been called in to collaborate with a financial services firm. For the purposes of this, we can say that it's a hedge fund or a private equity fund. And they want to discuss a potential project with us. Some of these items that I'm going to list here are probably more specific for a consulting firm that's coming in from the outside. Maybe some of these items wouldn't apply to like an internal innovation team, but I think it's more illustrative if we just think about ourselves as a consulting firm. Okay. So we're gonna go in to meet the client, and we can have initial discussions to talk about an engagement. We can present the methodology and approach to follow. That we intend to follow. We can present our team capabilities. But the cardinal rule in these situations, especially in consulting, is that we do not do any work without a contract in place. You can have exploratory talks, but you can't really do any significant work until you have a contract in place. So from the client perspective, because I've been on the client side, I've been a client to large consulting firms, PwC, Deloitte, IBM, Hitachi, a couple other firms I can't remember. I have been in situations where like I'm in contact with who my technical counterpart's going to be, and they will and like the company will put a stop to it and say, wait a minute, we can't do that because the contract isn't actually signed yet. Like I've been in those situations where like the company will actually stop and say, hold on a second, you know, we're close, but we don't have a contract in place. Don't do that. Don't do anything. Or, you know, the situation sometimes where the contract will expire, right? You put times on a contract, it expires. Both companies intend to renew, but the renewal is not done. So the consultant doesn't come in that day, or they come in late because, you know, we don't have anything signed. So that's one of the rules, right? If all of us are going to be in a consulting team, can't work without a contract. One, it helps maintain the relationship and the liabilities that each of us take on, right? The client and us. And two, it's a business, right? You got to keep the lights on. So you got to make sure you're going to be paid for your work, right? In consulting, there's kind of like this old saying, the best kind of client is a client that pays, right? They're not a client of yours if they're not paying you, right? So you got to always keep that in mind in terms of, you know, the steps you've taken and whether that actually results in paid work or not. So that's one of the things that we're going to emphasize today, because we want to make sure that we're approaching this in a professional manner. And part of that is to say that we have a contract in place. Okay? So, more audience participation. Can anyone tell me what a hedge fund or a private equity fund does? Because they're a potential client, right? They're our prospect. So we kind of need to know a little bit about that industry, right? And like I said, in this example, we're pretending that, you know, it's a hedge fund or an equity or a private equity fund, right? Can anyone tell me what a hedge fund or a private equity fund does? Anybody want to take a guess at that? No wrong answers. Let's just get some discussion going. What do you guys think? Abdul, welcome. Abdul says hedge fund is a firm that's trying to manage risk. Okay, but all financial firms do that, right? Rohit says they invest in the stock market. Yeah, but a lot of people invest in the stock market, right? I mean, what makes hedge funds or private equity funds special? I mean, we got to know this, right? We can't walk into this meeting without knowing their industry a little bit, right? What do you guys think? Rohit says large pool of money.